Welcome back once again, fellow brawlers and my Baku crew. I'm BakuBrad96, and today I am bringing you a Bakugan Geogan Rising deck profile featured around the Haos Ninjiton we did get in the recently unboxed Aquos Serpillious Ultra unboxing. So, just like I mentioned in the Darkest Oratoa deck profile before this video, the next three deck profiles, so this is number 2, will be based off of the Aquos Serpillious Ultra unboxing that I did. So I am saving the Aquos Serpillious Ultra for last, obviously, and rather than make a deck profile for all three, I did want to spread things out, use different and new Bakugan, so a deck profile for each seemed really cool. Today we are using the Haos Ninjiton, obviously I just said that, but instead of using 3 Haos, I did want to pair with Aurelus, so this is kind of a golden Haos deck, if you will, or at least that's the name of it. But enough blabbing, let's just jump straight into it. Let's go all things Bakugan. There are no Aurelus cards in the deck though, it is strictly Haos cards. Oh, sorry, not the camera, trying to slide everything around. I did just pair it with Aurelus Bakugan because I don't have too many Haos, and you know, I just wanted to use something different. So, let's get right into it. First off, being the Haos Ninjiton, Blue Magic Shield, and Green Fist for B power 600 and 3 damage. Not too bad, really good. It reminds me of the Haos Nilius. It just doesn't have that built-in reroll, but still a strong Bakugan nonetheless. We will go ahead and show him off. Here is Haos Ninjiton. Next up, I am using Aurelus Oratoa. So it has a Magic Shield and a Helix Core, B power of 700 and 3 damage. Ironic that the Darkest Oratoa came with the Haos Ninjiton in the same pack, because I just used the Darkest Oratoa. But my Aurelus Oratoa, geez, I say that a lot, that's a mouthful, is actually the Diamond, which is gorgeous, definitely one of my favorites. And I envy the day that they print enough Aurelus cards for everyone to have a mono Aurelus deck. I'm looking at you, Ultimate Vilock. Oh, if only my dreams will come true. I cannot wait for more Aurelus cards to be printed, and I hope they do. So, shout out to Spin Master and Bakugan. We need more Aurelus cards. Like, really, you can't just make an awesome faction like that and not have the ability to have a mono Aurelus team. But no more ranting, all good. Let's continue to the deck profile. We are using Aurelus Sharktar Ultra, Magic Shield and a Green Fist, B power of 500, 2 damage. And if it lands on a Magic Shield, you're going to get plus 200 B power and plus 2 damage. So a nice buff on top of the assuming already plus 650 from that blue shield, which makes it really strong. Again, I just wanted to pair Ninjiton with some really strong Aurelus Bakugan, because I thought it would be a cool strategy, and I haven't done it before, I don't really think. So here, of course, is Sharktar Ultra. Looking super nice. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the Bakucrew. Nothing too straightforward. We don't really need to land on the Green Fists in this deck for any reason at all. So I am using traps. We are running minus 3 damage just to kind of chip away at our opponent. For the Helix, we do want some power, but we don't want to take away from our own damage because these do have a low damage count. So we are going for the plus 500 B power and minus 1 damage, rather than the plus 600 B power minus 3 damage, which is the core that I normally use, like honestly, but I think this one is good. It gives you a nice amount of B power without taking away from your damage too much. But then for Magic Shield, you know, the exact opposite. We want full power. So 3 plus 650 B power cores. Of course, you could use the plus 600, the plus 4, the plus 5, you know, whatever you wanted, but I'm going for max power every time. So if you see a Magic Shield, it's usually the plus 650. Usually. Sometimes it's not, but most of the time. This deck also features 3 Geogan. The first being Haos Sluggler, 3 energy for a B power of 1400 and 7 damage. So just another vanilla, much like Darkest Mantrapod in the last deck profile. Just decent B power, decent damage on that 3 energy curve. Here, of course, is our Haos Spiky Slug Blob. After that is a Haos Geogan I'm using a lot more lately, is Skyhorse. So 4 energy for a B power of 1500, 5 damage, and if you land on a green fist you get plus 700 B power along with that Victor team attack ability, which is just awesome. But anyway, I know I said we don't need to land on green fists, and this deck doesn't. You know, it does have them, but they're traps. With Skyhorse, you know, you could go either way. The -3, I mean, just because of its own ability, you're going to get that 700, which is huge. And the -3 is not really going to hurt Skyhorse. You know, you're still going to have 2 damage in. So depending on the turn, if you need that B power, if you need to win for whatever reason, just go ahead and land on that green fist. Take the -3, but get that plus 700. Why not? I didn't think it would hurt that bad. So that's why we're using this one. Of course, here is Skyhorse. I do use it quite a bit with my Haos because I just find it to be one of the better Haos Geogan, honestly. So I definitely use it probably more than I should. One that I have not used, so this is a new one for me, being Geoforge Arachnia. So kind of like the Darkest Mutasect in the last profile, this is kind of just our later on turn drop win, just a big drop card on that 6 energy curve later on in the game, usually wins. So B power of 2200, 8 damage, and 2 Frost Strike. The 2 Frost Strike might come up. I'm not very good using that ability as far as deck building goes. I have tried before, but it didn't seem like that was a very popular deck for all of you, so I must not have built it too good. But moving on, here is, of course, the Geoforge Arachnia with that Geoforge Dragonoid red. So confusing, but good thing they put the faction symbols back on the Bakugan. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Now that our Geogan are reviewed, time to look at the rest of the deck. Pretty straightforward, mono Haos shield with a few niche things added. We'll get into it. So 3 Super Shot, 1 energy for plus 300 B power, just a really good early turn boost, and 300 on 1's not bad at all. 3 Crushing Shadows, 1 energy for plus 200 B power and a Frost Strike, or 1 Frost Strike. So again, the same reason for Super Shot, 1 for 2. It's not as good as 1 for 3, but at least when you're doing the 1 for 200, you are getting a Frost Strike on top. But again, just a bunch of low energy cost cards that give you a decent amount of B power. Next up, we're looking at damage with Electric Howl. 3 of these, 1 energy for plus 2 damage and 1 Frost Strike. So I guess we are using somewhat of a Frost Strike strategy in this deck profile as well, but that's certainly not what I focused on by no means. This is just kind of a B power damage, well-rounded, mid-range Bakugan deck, I suppose, if that's a thing. Don't know if you would consider any Bakugan deck mid-range, but this is what I think of anyway. So 2 Flash Attack, 2 energy for plus 5 damage. 2 Light's Courage, because I did want to give this deck somewhat of a domination feel, so there are core control cards. 2 energy for plus 400, but of course domination if you have the most Baku core, plus 800 instead. So 2 for 8, way better than 2 for 4, but 2 for 4 is not bad at all. So that's why we threw this in here. Just a really well-rounded card. 3 Scarf Strikes, not as good, but 2 energy for plus 500 B power, you can't complain about either. And at 3 of, why not? Because just going to guarantee you draw it at some point in the game. So we can work with Baku Core and hit that domination. I do have 2 Consort, 3 energy to attach a Baku Core from the field to an open Bakugan. Also, high level IQ play. You attach the Trap Core onto your opponent's Bakugan. It works. 2 Righteous Strike, 3 energy for plus 6, and you get to draw a card. Trifecta, so if your Bakugan have 3 or more Baku Cores attached to them, you may return it to your hand. It could happen, you know, you do have the Drum Wave, the Consort, so you certainly could hit that Trifecta, and in which case you could keep recycling this card. But as itself, 3 for 6 and draw is not bad at all. With that same principle in mind, I use this card a lot. Sonic Aura, 3 energy for 6 damage and you get to scan. Again, 3 for 6, 3 for 6. It is not bad at all. So I just mentioned it, but here we go. 3 Drum Wave, 4 energy to attach a Baku core from the field to an open Bakugan, and then Domination. So if your Bakugan are holding the most Baku cores, that Bakugan gets +3 Frost Strike. So another way to access Frost Strike, but that's not what the deck really wants to do. You're more concerned with getting that Baku core onto your Bakugan. I mean, obviously. And it's that time. Time for the Rainbow Sparkle Cannon of Doom. I cannot get over that name. But we are using 3 of these bad boys, 5 energy for a Baku Gear with an armor rating of 1. Otherwise, it's going to give your Bakugan 400 B power and 4 damage. So a really nice Baku Gear for this particular deck. Later on your turn 5, turn 6s, that kind of thing. This is going to give a nice hefty boost to both the B power and damage of all of your Bakugan. And since you don't worry about Evos, or at least I don't worry about Evo cards, Baku Gear can be slapped on. Slapping one of these onto each one of your Bakugan, it could be potentially dangerous. So, very nice. And I love the name, love the artwork. It is Kubo going all Rambo with a rainbow cannon. So, Rambo, Kubo with a rainbow cannon, Rainbow Sparkle Cannon of Doom. That is a mouthful, but it's just so cool. I hope we get that cosplay Kubo. Fingers crossed that actually gets released as an actual Kubo toy, because that would be hilarious. But moving on. 2 Silk Bolt Barrier, 5 energy for +900 B power and scan. 1 Toxic Lasers, 5 energy for +800 B power and 2 Frost Strike. So it's like another Silk Bolt Barrier, but it does different things. Or Blast. Yeah, Barrier. Now on to the last part and the flips. We are running that Dazzle again, 0 energy to block a Bakugan holding a Helix core. The normal 2 Confuse, 1 energy to block a Bakugan holding a Flaming or Magic Shield core. Flaming Fist, Magic Shield. It is Mono Haos, so why not run the 2 Halt Outsiders, 3 energy to block a non-Haos. And then again, Domination we're trying to hit, so I do have a Stand Together. 4 energy to block non-Haos, and then Domination. If your Bakugan are holding the most Baku cores, it's free. So really nice. Otherwise, it kind of represents a 3rd Halt Outsiders in a way, sort of, but yeah. So that is the deck profile. Pretty straightforward, not a whole lot to it. Don't want to make the video too long, so thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned. The next deck profile is going to be Mono Aquos Serpillious Style. So it's going to be really cool. Make sure you hit that like video on your way out. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing as well for daily Bakugan content. And I will see you next time. Remember, Bakugan Brawl.